feel like almost every person in the UK growing up that wasn't a millionaire growing up, right?
Yeah.
Always like my parents always like the rich were bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was like, oh, this is for the rich. Oh, the rich only benefit in this,
Yeah.
but the poor suffer in this. And like growing up, like it's like, why hate the rich, right? Like obviously, when you're growing up, you don't really give a shit. But like, now you're at this age, it's like, why do you hate the rich?
I have this argument with so many people, and people get very, very
It bugs me, dude. It bugs me big
upset
time.
about it because I try to make this point to people like your problem isn't like your neighbor who makes six figures, right? Like someone who makes $1 million a year isn't your problem. I'm like your real problem is like the Jeff Bezos and like the Rothschilds and like your problem is like super millionaires, right? They're the like fucking like systematic problems and like they're the ones doing this and that and they're the ones puppeteering the fucking world. Like
Mm.
ultra millionaires, right? Billionaires and like the ultra elites. They are the real issue. Like your neighbor who makes six figures is not a problem, right? There's
It's true, yeah.
that person's probably doing more for the community making that six figures than one of these super billionaires ever be. So why hate on someone that's trying to make more money to better the area and to better their own community? Like why hate
Yeah,
someone within your own
you
community?
see another thing is like you mentioned Jeff Bezos as well, right? Like I agree with you on that. But like another thing that I still also feel that just applies to anyone that is considered rich, because like a lot of people can consider someone rich just making six figures,
Mm-hmm.
right? It doesn't mean you're rich. Someone could consider someone making seven figures rich. Doesn't
Yeah.
mean you're rich. Could be making eight figures, then you're rich. Like everyone's got a different level of rich, right? I
Exactly.
mean, like I'd say I've got to that stage where my idea of rich is just being financially free.
100%.
That's literally it. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I want to be worth X amount of millions. Like, I really do.
Yeah.
But like, in between that, I just want to be financially free. Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's the key thing. But like, a lot of people, like, I think you just got to learn to. The way I see it is, the people that are richer than you or like big time billionaires, they all were born and grew up without not being a billionaire, right? I mean, minus Trump. Uh, so in that perspective, it's like, don't hate them. They just learn how to play the game. That's literally it. Because as we're business owners, like, don't get me wrong, I try to like pay as less tax as I possibly can,
Yeah,
of course.
exactly.
But that doesn't make me a bad person. It's just because fucking paying for taxes of fucking good old Boris, right, at this moment in time, it's like it's not benefiting the
No.
country, right? Like, and I'm still paying tax, but wherever there's a loophole that you can legally go through,
Mm-hmm.
why would I just be like, oh no, I'm not going to do that. I want to pay more money to the government.
Yeah,
It's like tax is the biggest fraud
100%.
in the entire world. It's the biggest scam in the entire world. But like, you can't avoid it.
Yeah, exactly. I actually want
It's
to say
like,
one thing you said a minute ago about that being rich. There was weirdly, I'd only watched this like the other day, and there was this video, and it was basically the quote was Bob Marley, and it was Bob Marley, and an interviewer basically said to him, like, Bob, are you rich? Do you have a lot of money in the bank? And he said, what do you mean, am I rich? Like, is money the only thing that you consider for richness, for riches?
mm,
He says, I am rich. He said, but money doesn't come into it. I'm rich on life.
yeah. Do
And
you know
that's
what other people get
great.
offended by? Yeah, that is really, really key. And I think that's so important. You know, a lot of people get offended if someone say they're rich though. I've noticed that. Like
Yeah.
if you go out and you talk to someone and you're like, yeah, I'm wealthy. Like, I'm okay. Like that's bad. You can't say that. That's really bad. Like you're scum at that point, right?
You're rubbing it
It-
in.
yeah, like the second you say that, it's like you're scum. And I think, like, I mean, it's never going to change, but like society is so messed up, and it's like it really is messed up. Like we'll never get out of that loophole. But the people that say, "Oh, like, I hate the rich" and so forth, like, you're lying to yourself if you say you don't want to be rich. It's like, just be honest with yourself, right?
Yeah.
Because the only person in between that s- status and you is yourself. Like, there is nothing else,
Yeah.
and it just applies to every single aspect. Like, I mean, going back to the house situation, if you want to save up 50 grand to then put 50 grand down and you're back to zero and then you got to make that payment 3 weeks later, so be it, right?
Yeah.
But don't talk shit about everyone else that don't own a house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's a dumb move. And then you get people that are like, the same people will say, no, don't invest in the stock market, it's gambling.
Yeah.
Don't invest in cryptocurrency, it's gambling. Or I'm buying a fucking house, isn't gambling.